We welcome you in on the Northstar Network for this broadcast of varsity hockey quarterfinal action between the number 4 seed CNS Northstars and number 5 seed Baldwinsville Bees. I'm Killian Heffron, who will be joined alongside by Joey Cox here eventually in a couple of moments. Northstars walk into this game as the 4th seed, and in the case of the Bees, it was certainly an odd way to end the year, dropping several games in division that ultimately got them into this spot. Bees at the beginning of the year had state playoff aspirations and hopes to get out of the section, but they've certainly made that road a lot more difficult for themselves here as they have to go through CNS today. In the case that West Genesee defeats IHC, they're currently up 3-0 in the second period. They'll have to go through West Genny in the semifinal, and then they would be the lower seed in the sectional final, assuming that RFA or Syracuse gets through on that side. I'm now joined alongside here by Joey Cox. Joey, welcome to this broadcast here, and what's going to be your expectation for the performance here from the North Stars?
Well, you know, I don't know if you talked about it because I'm just hopping on, but the North Stars, you know, they're heading into this game the higher seed over the Beeville Bees, but honestly, I see them as a little bit of the underdog here. Yes, they handed Beeville their first loss of the season at home earlier in the season when they played them at Beeville. That was a 5-2 win, but honestly, the North Stars, statistically, they're coming in as the underdog. 90 goals on the year for the Bees. The North Stars sitting with 59. 103 assists for the Bees, 74 assists for the North Stars, and then they're allowing more goals as well. The only thing they got going for them is saves. And they just got a strong goalie, but that's also because their defense is allowing more shots. So I think, you know, the Bees, who, if they get quality shots, are going to take those opportunities and capitalize. If the North Stars aren't able to stop them, then it's going to be a victory here for the Bees. But the North Stars, statistically, are the underdogs, in my opinion.
Now, Joey, adding on to that, Baldwinsville this year, in the games that they've lost at home, particularly against CNS, against the Syracuse Cougars, against RFA, they have outshot their opponent by over 20 all 3 of those games, and yet they've lost by multiple goals each time. Baldwinsville has an issue of getting quality scoring chances and finishing on them when they do get them. We'll see if they can take care of that today here, as the starting lineups will be given up by the PA announcer.
We're live here on the Northstar Network, streaming on YouTube. I'm Joey Cox, your play-by-play commentator for the first period. Killian will take over in the second and third as we welcome you into Section 3 quarterfinals. Northstar's taking on the Baldwinsville Bees here at home. The Northstars with a 10-10 record, playing against the 13-4-3 Baldwinsville Bees. So technically the Bees have the better record, but in divisional play, the Northstars have the better record, so therefore they are hosting today's Section 3 quarterfinals. Thank you so much for joining us here in the booth. I'm joined alongside Killian Heffron. As this is the last game, most likely, the Northstars will more than likely play West Jenny in the semifinals if they do come away with the victory. So if the Northstars do come away with the victory, it will probably be very statistically impossible for us to broadcast at West Jenny. So this will probably be the last game of my senior year. So I'll be signing off for my final hockey game. It's kind of tough to say that. Wow. All right, so Northstar starting things off. Here's Gabor down low.
Yeah.
Kirk, excuse me.
Yeah, Joey, you got the CNS second line on the ice right now to start this game. Bit of an interesting call here by Coach Jones. You usually see that first line with Gabor, Kalen Brown. You usually see that line being the one on the ice. Northstar's second line right now out. Interesting call here to start this game.
Quick switch up, however, as Springer takes the ice. Not much happening to start, as Northstar is just kind of forced to chip this one down ice as Bees retake it. Working with it, it's Crowley. Gets it up from Collum. Working down low. That one gets poked free by McGrain. Chips it back down low for Spino. Can't get a hold. There's a couple Northstars in the area. That one gets poked free, and out comes Clark. Excuse me. As now we finally get some of the first liners out there. There's Kalen Brown as an offside called on the Northstars.
Well, Baldwinsville early on here, you got that pressure in the offensive zone, but they were unable to keep it in. That's been a bit of a problem here for them this year, keeping the puck in at the blue line. They've had a lot of issues with pinching at the wrong time, springing odd man rushes. Obviously, you'd expect them to be more conservative about that in a game like this, but a bit of a thing to watch here for this Bees defense.
Parker Cook tracking it down. Bees come away with it. A quick pad save by DeRoy. Northstar's fighting for it down low behind DeRoy. It comes out by the Bees. They can't keep it in as it's fired back, and on the track is Crowley. Back here's Breen. Fires that one up top. Gets a deflection through the neutral zone and behind DeRoy for an icing.
Northstar is alternating between first and second line here to start off this game. Let's keep an eye here on this first line currently out on the ice for Baldwinsville. You have Rocco Weaver now up on forward. He started the year for the Bees as a defender. They switched him up towards the end, and it's been successful. Was named to All-Section recently, so certainly for Baldwinsville going to be a big key for them is this first line. You got Hinman, Dorito, and Weaver all up on this line.
As Benkowski keeps it in, tries to get it up for Springer, but it's past him and into the stick of Crowley. Knocked free. Anybody's puck in the neutral zone. It's fired down low. Tries to chip that in front. Has a bad angle from Hinman. Coming out from behind the net. Springer tries to get in the neutral zone. As here comes Clark. Clark got no help as Northstar is forced to reset. Here's Benkowski just forced to chip that down into the zone. Bees back with it as it's blocked by Gabor. Now Northstars have a chance to set up a play. Clark stops on a dime, turns. Trying to feed that for Brown. Can't get it as it's shot all the way down ice for an icing.
Not much today in terms of design plays that Northstars have been running so far. It's kind of a lot of whack and go chase the puck. They're seeing that's a physical team. We've seen it all year, that their physicality is able to win them pucks. Baldwinsville is going to have to cope with that So something that we didn't quite see from the North Stars first time they played each other was the amount of hits that CNS usually will do, as this one's going to become another icing here in the North Stars. And it ultimately worked in CNS's favor, not being as physical in that first game, but I wouldn't be surprised here if we see players like Springer and Brown, two of their most physical guys, come up here and land some big hits, set the tone.
Here comes an offensive zone face-off for Clark and the North Stars. McGrain in there for the Bees. That one's going to be fought in the circle. Ultimately won by the North Stars, so it's poked free by the Bees. They're coming the other way. Here's McCollum. Zips it up. Here's an opportunity there. Chips it up, and he knocks it through. A nice little top shelfer. Couldn't see the number there. We'll get a replay on that one.
It's a bad angle there taken by the North Star defender. McCollum, one of the fastest players on this Beeville team. He's going to beat either defender taking that angle every day of the week.
It was actually McCollum with the assist there.
Same case for McGrain. Both those players extremely quick, and we saw them even from the very beginning of the year. First Beeville game against CNY Fusion, they were doing this. It's come down to the end of the season. They're still using that speed. North Stars, they got to take better angles on defense, or it's going to be a long night for them.
So an early 1-0 lead here for the Bees. We'll see if they can add some insurance. Dumps that one off. Nothing coming. The North Stars now got it down low. Sobolowski loses it. Here again now in the neutral zone, it's Russo. Moves in. Fires that one down low. Sobolowski tries to get a hold of it. And here come the Bees the other way. Dorito fires that one up, looking to connect with Weaver. He just overshoots him. Tries to get it the centering pass. It's broken up by the North Stars. Fight for it on the near boards. Gets a couple deflections. Now down low for Russo. North Stars slowing some things down. Anderson chips that one up. Gets a deflection off the boards. As an icing is called.
That's a bit of a miscommunication there from the CNS offense. In that situation, you got a player sending it from back behind the red line. You got to get somebody up there to either deflect that or make a play on it, cancel out that icing. And they're just unable to do that right there. That's going to be something that Baldwinsville is going to try to capitalize on here with this offensive zone faceoff.
Cooley in there. Going to win it here for the North Stars. Taking it down neutral ice. Fired up for Springer. It's broken up by the Bees and an offside call.
On the draw now, it is Cooley. Cooley wins this one back, and it's sent down in there by Parker Cook.
Now the Bees trying to take it out. Springer keeps it in, but it's quickly picked off. Here's McCollum. Moves in, and McGrain just got there too quick. Looking for that McCollum-McGrain connection that we saw in the first goal. Just McGrain jumped the gun.
When you got two players as speedy as those two, that's something that's going to happen naturally. Obviously, if you're Baldwinsville here, you'll take the face-off off in the position where it is, but you're going to want to try to limit those offsides here, get into the offensive zone, get that pressure, force the CNS defense to have to step up. Something they've struggled with this year.
Gabor tried to clear that out. Got some blocks from some Bees. Clark tries to feed it to Gabor. And it's poke free. Bees trying to get the centering pass. Can't fit it to Toland. Rings that around the boards. Coming out is Kalen Brown. Coming the other way. Gabor tries to get that in front for Clark, but he's tied up.
That's a strong defensive play there by Crowley. Gets him, plays the body, forces him to have to try to force something across, ends up winning the puck. That's good job there by Keegan Crowley, the sophomore. Very bright future ahead of him, especially with 2 more years of eligibility left.
We've seen a couple goals this year by the North Stars coming off a similar play. Just this time, Gabor can't connect with Clark to knock it down. So safe here by DeRoy. Face-off coming to his left. 11 minutes exactly left, a 1-0 game in favor of the Bees. 3 shots on goal for the visitors, 1 for the home team, the North Stars. Couple false starts there. It's Weaver now in the, now it's going to be Hinman in the face-off for the Bees. It's ultimately won by them. Weaver tries to get it through. It's coming the other way for the North Stars. Here's Kirkby. Kirkby gets there in time, but as a quick shot after getting up, as Springer just can't get it off accurately. Bice not really been tested here early. 1 shot on goal for the North Stars. They need to get some more Valium on net.
Last time these two faced each other, Bice certainly not giving up the greatest goals he'd like to give up. Gave up a few off of weird angles. 1 or 2 were off of screens. Certainly looks to bounce back against CNS today compared to how their last meeting went. Obviously only been tested once here.
Well, is that one picked off by Brown, though he loses it. Lost control there as the Bees coming out of their defensive half. Fight for neutral ice. It's taken back by the North Stars. Clark, he stops, puts on the brakes. Loses it, and he's coming out. Clark takes the quick shot after getting it back. Gabor trying to fight for it on the far boards. Kept in by the captain, Austin Benkowski. He's definitely been a playmaker in the later parts of the season. And that, a shot from the right circle from McGrain, who scored the lone goal here tonight. It's a save by DeRoy.
Not much so far here for the North Stars in terms of getting on-man rushes. They've gotten a lot of their goals this year off of rush plays. I'd expect to see them here start to cheat their wingers out of the zone a little bit, try to generate some of those because they can be dangerous when they get going.
As that one zips across and through by Worth. He gets the rebound and chips it up and in. A 2-0 lead here in the first for the Bees.
Well, Joey, this is going to come down to North Star defensive coverage in front of the net. You got to have somebody picking up that guy crashing in front. Ultimately, the rebounds are going to happen naturally. The defender has to be there to pick it up, clear it away. Nobody's there. Donovan Worth walks in, easy tapping.
Yeah, you can see off of the faceoff, Worth is just sitting there by himself. And that's nothing you can do when you're the North Stars. Well, obviously, yes, put a man on him, but especially if you're DeRoy, I mean, you're matched up with him. You got to hope that you can move across the crease in time, but DeRoy just unprepared. Nobody on Worth, and that's an easy rebound score for him.
Joey,
Speaking of the Devil.
And Joey, you also got to think you have over half this period left to go. CNS, they have to start playing better defensively.
Yeah.
That was the number right there.
And I think that really speaks to the difference in saves total for both teams. You got the North Stars, who have 707 saves on the season. You got Boston DeRoy, who's got 616 himself. And then you got the Bees, who have 480. So a much bigger margin there when it comes to saves, and I think that speaks to the defense, and the North Stars kind of struggling to decrease the shot total. There's a 1-on-2 forming for the Bees. Puts on the brakes, tries to feed that in front. For Hinman, just can't connect. Coming the other way, it's Breen. Gets there before Cooley. Fires that down as coming off the bench is Hinman. He gets it off, and there's a shot, and a 3-0 lead. The North Stars defense is just being eaten alive, and it's not looking good right now, as that's the second of the night for McGrain. Wow.
And Joey, comes back to what we said earlier, the speed of McGrain. He's going to beat you if you're not taking the proper angle on him, and he just walks in here and buries this.
And DeRoy just can't get the glove down in time.
And Joey, if you're Coach Dan Jones here, you got to start thinking about taking a timeout.
Yeah.
This period is now just slightly over halfway over. You're already down 3-0. Momentum's got to shift somehow. Either your players have to start being more physical, you got to start making passes, but either that or you have to call that timeout, and certainly would not be an ideal situation for CNS here this early in this game.
All right, as Cook tried to feed that to Clark in the neutral zone, and Clark just completely lost track of the puck. He didn't even realize it was being passed to him. So a little bit of some communication errors both on offense and defense for the North Stars. So I agree, Killian. Coach Dan Jones got to be thinking about taking a timeout here. But, there's still a lot of time left. Still 8 minutes here in this first period, 8 minutes and 12 specifically, and still 2 full other periods left to play. But you got to start getting some stops on defense. You got to tighten things up and make sure you stay on your man. Is that one lost by Brown. Going through the whole roster there with that one. Brown looks to track it down. Back for Clark. Clark from the right circle. This one at the wing. Fired in by Russo. That one into the netting. We'll get a face-off here to the left of Bice.
And Northstar student section, they're still pouring in here, and you just saw it. Some of the players or some of the students walking by glance up at the scoreboard, and they're like, what is going on? It's certainly not the expectation here for CNS. And if you're Baldwinsville, this is your dream scenario. This is what you want to do. Get CNS out of this game early and put Beeville in a situation where they can get either some of their younger guys playing time, or they can start working on some plays that could be useful in future games.
Well, we'll see if the Northstar student section can get to Bice, maybe shake him up a little bit.
Certainly going to be pretty difficult behind that glass, I would say, though.
Yeah.
So the winner of this game will take on the winner of West Genesee and IHC. That game currently is 3-0 Jenny.
As a turn and a shot from Kirkby. Sorry to cut you off there, Killian, but
all good.
As Kirkby loses his stick.
Yeah, it's currently 3-0 Jenny there in the second intermission, so IHC is going to have a pretty significant comeback in that third period for the amount of time remaining. We got a penalty here upcoming against Baldwinsville. It's going to be against Hinman for a rough, probably.
So first power play here today, as can't tell who's down. Looks like it might be Dylan Ling.
Officials are going to get together here. Or can we get a replay of this?
Yeah, we're going to get a replay. See if they might call this for a major here.
Yeah, every official getting together. So let's have a look here at what's going on. Little later. So yeah, we're down here. So, it's going to probably be for... So if they were going to give a major, it would probably be for a board. I believe they just gave him a minor for a rough.
All
so
right.
Officials deeming that it was not blatant enough there to warrant the major.
Yeah, that was Dylan Ling who went down on that one.
Potentially dodging a bit of a bullet there. Just from looking at the replay, that looks like it might have
been called the other way, really.
Yeah.
Tough from our angle, but looks like he got some shoulder or elbow action there. But either way, it's a power play here for the North Stars. So here's the time the North Stars really need to capitalize if they want to come back down 3-0 in the first. Still plenty of time, but North Stars need to get some quality shots. A backhander there feeds it to Brown. Tries to get it back for Gabor. It's nearly kept in by Benkowski, but the North Stars forced to reset in the neutral zone. Here's Brown. He walks in. Chips that down low. Rings around the boards. Gabor tries to get a hold. It's lost, but Benkowski keeps it in. From the point. Takes the shot. Got blocked in front, but Brown able to track it down and keep it in. Straddles the blue line.
Good structure here from this Beeville PK.
As that one gets in front, nearly gets redirected by Gabor, though he's tied up, and that's going to be a successful clear here for the Bees.
North Stars got away with a trip there right in front of Bice. That could have easily ended the power play right there. Officials deem that they're going to let that one go.
Let them play out here in the quarterfinals. Brown walks in, tries to fire that one across, rings around. Here at the point is Kirkby, but he loses it out. And captain resets, fires that one down. Ice for Gabor, but another successful clear here for the Bees. 35 seconds left in the power play. As there's a shorthanded opportunity, fought for behind the net, but the North Stars get a break there.
I'm not too sure, Joey, what CNS was doing there. Dom Dorito just kind of walked on in uncontested.
Yeah. All right, here's Kirkby, tries to get it across the center ice. Can't feed it through. That'll most likely do it here for the power play for the North Stars. So the first one we see here today for either team. And neither are able to capitalize. Gabor walks in as the clock is ticking. Clark fires it across. Gets a block in front off the Benkowski shot. Clark tries to feed it up. Gabor fighting in front, and he falls into the net as it's loose in there.
We'll see if the officials call anything here. Certainly, I'd imagine if anything here, or both Crowley and Brown will get called. Either that or nothing at all.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're going to go with the nothing at all option on that.
Yeah, just a little scuffle there on the side of the net. Both got tripped up. So they call nothing there.
I tell you what, Joey, temperature of the game's picking up.
Yeah.
It's getting a lot more intense here. I would not be surprised if we start seeing a lot more penalties here on both sides as the student section almost gets taken out with that slap shot.
One-timer from Russo. Just high. Russo trying to keep it in. Forced to reset, just fires that one down low as the Bees take it from behind the net. So Russo tries to keep it in, but it finds its way into the Bees bench. So 4:31 left to go and a 3-0 lead for the Bees. 6 shots on goal for the visitors, 3 for the North Stars.
Yeah, Joe, you talk about sustained pressure. Baldwinsville's really had none. It's been all CNS in terms of sustained pressure, but North Star's just making bad defensive mistakes. It's giving Baldwinsville chances. That's why this game's 3-0 right now.
Yeah, just like using like a little bit of a football analogy, just some breakdowns in coverage for the North Stars. That's really what it's coming down to. As that one held by Gabor, or excuse me, DeRoy. .416 left to go. So face-off coming to his left. Anderson in there for the North Stars face-off, and it's won by the Bees. A quick shot, gets a deflection. Here comes the North Stars the other way as it's called for an icing. So face-off coming to the right here of DeRoy after the icing. Multiple stops here in the last 30 seconds or so. As fight for it on the near boards. Fired up, gets some blocks in front as Kirkby wincing a little bit. Looks like he's going to be all right. Just got the wind knocked out of him there. Tries to get the centering pass, get some more blocks. That one fired out. No North Stars there to pick it up. So the Bees pick it up instead. Puts on the brakes. Fires that one down to Hinman. Here's Dorito. Fires that one across. Rings around the boards and coming the other way for the North Stars. Springer gets it poked free. As an interesting substitution there. As Ling just flung himself across the...
You got to avoid the too many men on the ice penalty.
Right.
Puck was coming towards him. He had to get out of there.
Yeah.
Sometimes the hurdle is the play, and I guess that was the situation there. He's definitely laboring a bit on the bench, but that's better than taking a penalty.
So 3:09 left to go. Is that one chipped out of play? It's a 3-0 lead for the visiting Bees. They're technically the seeding underdogs but statistically they rival the North Stars. But the North Stars handed them their first regulation loss at home earlier in the season. Obviously, they've had more since then, but at the time, they had no losses at home until the North Stars waltzed into Beeville and handed them the 5-2 loss. Now the North Stars trail 3-0 here at home. Gabor walks in. He fires that one past Bice. Brings around. Russo can't keep it in. North Stars here to reset. Brown floats around McGrain. North Stars even further back. Off the boards, here's Russo. Floats into the neutral zone as he gets a big hit there on the blue line. Knocking down Hawthorne. Excuse me.
That was Spino.
Spino. So one thing about hockey is they're always moving so much and their jerseys are always scrunching like numbers blend together. Anyways, here comes another opportunity for the Bees. A 3-on-1. That one across and a save. A turn and a shot. Nearly sneaks through. And that one finally held by DeRoy. Those were those defensive breakdowns that we were talking about the North Stars needed to avoid.
Joey, when I tell you CNS got lucky right there, I don't think you're going to understand how much they got lucky.
Yeah.
That's a bad position into pinch number one. But number two, unable to get possession of the puck. This is now going to prompt a 3-on-1 for Beeville. And, I mean, they had so many chances in front of the net there. That's a great job by DeRoy. That's all on DeRoy there for keeping that one out of the back of the net, and the defender's able to get back and back check and clear things away to the point where he could do so safely. But like you said, Joey, breakdowns.
Yep. And there was a little bit of a, I don't know if I missed it or not, but I thought there was a line change going on there too, so just poorly timed there as well. So that one fired down looking. Fight for it at the near boards. It's taken away by the Bees. That one fired across. Nobody home. Just bounces off the near boards. Anderson fires that one down. Has 1 minute left here in the first, and the Bees with a 3-0 lead. As an offside call there on Beeville. You know, I thought to myself, Killian, I was like 3-0. I'm like, isn't it 4-0? Because my brain was thinking that opportunity that they just had went through. But again, luckily, DeRoy just stood tall there in the crease. But a face-off here in the neutral zone. Fired back and won by the North Stars as they take it out from behind the net. Up for Ling. He fires that one down. Nobody home. That's going to be an icing called. 40.4, and still a 3-0 lead for the Bees.
Well, Joey, let's look at the positives here for CNS. This second half of the first period's been much better played for them. They haven't been breaking down as much. They've kept Beeville off the scoreboard. This is where you build your base and you start to get that comeback going. That momentum shift has certainly been happening. They've gotten some good sustained pressure. Haven't really been able to convert, but it's a good starting point. They look to build off this here in the intermission. Just get out of this first period.
As Springer looking to take that one out. Russo keeps it out of harm's way. He's going to fire that one down ice. Looking for Ling, who finally tracks it down, though he gets tripped up. That one trying to connect across to Springer. Can't feed it. Under 10 seconds. Looks like it's going to end with a 3-0 lead here for the Bees to finish out the first, and it will. So the Bees strike first, and they're going to strike hard as well. 3-0 lead for the Bees. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. That's the saying from Cobra Kai. So the Bees, again, striking first here. The North Stars got nothing on the board. 3-0 lead for the visitors. 9 goals for the Bees, or 9 shots on goal for the Bees, 3 for the North Stars. We'll be back in just a moment. Killian will be taking over for play-by-play for the second and third. Don't go anywhere.
We welcome you back onto the Northstar Network here on YouTube for this broadcast of sectional quarterfinal hockey between the CNS Northstars and the Baldwinsville Bees. I'm Killian Heffron, your play-by-play commentator the rest of the way, joined alongside by Joey Cox. And Joey, currently 3-0 Baldwinsville. It was a really rough start for CNS here. That first 8.5 minutes of the first period, they did not look good, but they started to look better as that period went on. What do you expect to see here from this Northstar squad as they try to mount this comeback?
I think they got to play a little bit more conservatively here, Killian. I think by playing a little bit more aggressive is what's leading to those defensive breakdowns. They're also seeing some transitions where they're doing some line changes in the wrong moments, and that is leading to some of those 3-on-1, 2-on-1 opportunities for the Bees. So really the Northstars, I think, need to play a little bit more conservative, keep their defense back so that they can stay in a position to really maintain their defensive structure and hold off the Bees.
And now if we talk about Baldwinsville, that great first period for them. They have their speedsters getting involved. You got McCollum, you got lost my train of thought there. You have McCollum, you have McGrain, and then also their other goal coming from Donovan Worf off that tap and rebound play. So for Baldwinsville in the second period, I think the key for them is going to be maintaining consistency. Usually when Beeville plays, they get better as the game goes on, and if that's the case, that's a good omen for them considering how that first period went. But I would not be surprised here if we see them take a bit of a step back here as the North Stars start pushing a little bit. And this game, it's not over by any stretch. You still got a lot of time left. I could see this one easily getting competitive here and coming down to the stretch. It's up to Baldwinsville here to knock them out early.
Yeah, and I think, like you're saying, Killian, competitive, and that's kind of where the North Stars can get a little bit chippy, lose some of their discipline, so they have to maintain their discipline throughout these next two periods because that's where we can see some of those unnecessary penalties and unnecessary power play opportunities for the Bees.
All right, with that, we are ready to get started here for the second period of action. We're back here for the second period of action. North Stars in the white, Baldwinsville in the red. 3-0 Baldwinsville. Our shots on goal are 9-3. On the draw for Beeville is going to be Dom Dorito matched up against David Cooley. Pivotal second period here. North Stars looking to get back into it. We are underway as this one gets fired up. Intended there for Russo, who dumps this one on in deep. Back to play that is Don Pertel. Pertel gets to it, flips it up the wall, takes a weird bounce, jumps over to Alex Kirkby, who couldn't send that one back down in. Shot came through, and that one was blocked away there as the North Stars tried to scoop this one out. In his own end is Pertel. He walks forward. Pertel sends this one down the ice. In pursuit of this is Weaver. He's not going to get there in time, icing against Beeville.
Now, those are some of the opportunities the North Stars have to prevent. Luckily for them, it gets called for an icing instead, but if that puck had a little less speed on it, Pertel could have got there in time, and that could have been deadly. Excuse me, Weaver.
Offensive zone face-off on the draw is Austin Clark for the North Stars, matched up against Alessio McGrain, already with 2 goals in this one. This gets fired around the side and now played by Max Spino. Spino makes a move, it gets flipped back, and Benkoski hits this one on over for Roskoff. Roskoff fires it up, gets deflected in by Brown, and back to play it for Beeville's Pertel. Pertel flips it up the wall, and the shot comes in from the point there, gloved and held by Bice off the attempt from Austin Benkoski. Bice not tested very much there in that first period. This gets sent down in, and here comes McGrain. McGrain with speed. He walks up into the clear, and he had it taken away. The last second shot there from Spino goes high, and this gets sent out of the zone. In pursuit of this now for the North Stars is Clark. Clark tries to get in there, and he gets hit. Good hit by Pertel, able to take him off the puck. Clark still battling for it. Don Pertel and Austin Clark still in the fight for this one, and now comes that penalty coming here against the North Stars. And I believe, it looks like they're going to take them both.
But Killian, on the other end, what we just saw a few moments ago, that is the kind of defense we needed to see from the North Stars. Staying with their man, holding him tight, keeping that pressure, and they poke the puck free. There was a shot in the last moment there by Spino, but that's the North Stars. That's the pressure they need to put on defense in order to prevent those offensive breakout sequences. So while we have a momentary break, we'd like to thank our sponsor, as always, Marzullo Landscaping, for all of your landscaping needs, our sponsor for the winter season. So, as always, a huge thank you to him.
Now on the draw, it comes into the offensive zone for CNS. Both players penalized minors for roughing, and so this will keep it 5-on-5 due to the coincidental minor rule. And ejected from the dot there will be Colin Anderson, and replacing him is Evan Soblowski. It's wired around the wall. Tolan steps into this for Beeville, and he sends this one down. Trying to get onto that there was Thomas Rolfe. Rolfe picks it up, had an opportunity to carry it to the middle, just couldn't get there. Rolfe makes a check type of thing there on the wall. It gets sent down the ice, blocked by Beeville and sent back down in. Onto this one now for the North Stars is Kirkby, who looks up the wall. It gets deflected forward, and here come the North Stars trying to spring a rush. Here's Anderson, who got held up there by one of the Bees, and so CNS will have to regroup. Getting out of the zone there was Anderson, and Kirkby brings it in, has it poked away, falls back to Anderson at the point. Anderson, a drive that got blocked on the way in. Baldwinsville trying to find the puck. They can't really figure out where it is. It's chipped up there on the wall. Down low, here's Soblowski. Soblowski to the middle, and that one did not go. Picked up now by Beeville. They rush up the other way. In the offensive zone now is McFeeters. McFeeters' shot went wide, and then he went in and reversed Evan Sobolewski, and their skate laces somehow managed to get tangled together. That's not something you see every day.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Just wrong place, wrong time for both of them there. They just get unlucky with that one.
So it'll be an offensive zone face-off for Baldwinsville out of that. Certainly not what CNS was expecting to have to get the play blown dead for. We get a whistle here. North Stars jumped the gun. It was Springer there who walked a little too far over that line for the face-off.
As a little bit of an update there, 6-0 for the Wildcats with 1:02 left to go in the third.
The Wildcats double their goal total there in 10 minutes of game time.
Jeez.
That's an electric West Jenny squad. Their only team to beat them in the regular season in Section 3 Division 1 was the Baldwinsville Bees. And the Bees in that game, there's a good hit there on Springer. Or the Bees in that game, they weren't facing a fully healthy squad for West Jenny. So certainly Wildcats at their peak form right now. They await the winner of this one. North Stars trying to climb back into that spot. And here comes Cooley into the neutral zone. Cooley walks forward. He made a move on the blue line. That's going to draw Springer off sides. That's another error there by the North Stars. You got to be limiting stuff like that.
Almost a 2-on-2 there. And yeah, just again, Cooley wanted to step back a little bit, reset maybe, or just kind of throw the Bees off guard. But Springer wasn't on the same page. This
gets chipped down the ice. Trying to get onto this now is McCollum. McCollum with McGray at the front of the net. And the pass there got deflected. It was nearly picked up by Spino, who wasn't able to hold this. Dumped down in there by Dylan Breen. And the North Stars pick it up. It's Kirkby slapping it around there for Soblowski, who loses his footing a bit. It comes up now to Crowley, whose shot there is turned away. Dumped back down in. Spino onto this one. And he will lay a check. This one gets sent back down in. Blowing an edge there temporarily was McGrain, who's able to regain his footing. Picked up by Alessio McGrain, who then ends up turning this one over to Gabor. But it gets sent right back into the North Star into the neutral zone before CNS brings this out. Here's Gabor walking in from the side. Gabor there took a bit of a chop there at his knees. And it gets battled for there on the side. It's pulled out by the Bees, whacked up there at the wall. Takes a weird deflection wide. And onto this is Spino. Spino steps forward. He sends this one down the ice. And getting onto this now is McCollum. McCollum makes a move. It's Rylan McCollum. His shot there, air mouthed over the net, had tons of open space on the top part of the goal. And he definitely recognized that, just couldn't get the accuracy. Might have taken a deflection off the goalie's stick, Joey.
Yeah, and Parker Cook right there. There's just another breakdown the North Stars can't afford. Here down 3-0. Cook just lets them sneak by. And that man just got lucky there.
We have a penalty here upcoming against the North Stars. And I believe they're going to take Springer here for a high stick. And so
first power play here for the Bees.
Yeah, Springer, they're getting a bit careless with his stick positioning, and that's going to be what does him in. And now, all of a sudden, Baldwinsville has an opportunity to knock this one potentially out of range. You got 12-13 to go in the second period. 3 goals not insurmountable, especially with this vast amount of time left, but 4 goals certainly would be much more tall of a task.
Yeah.
Beeville looking to punch their ticket to West Jenny. And a second ran off the clock there before they dropped the puck. Bit weird on what happened there. This gets sent down the ice, and so Baldwinsville will elect to regroup. Crowley carries it forward. Here's Keegan Crowley into the offensive zone. Crowley from the side. He will look around the back of the net, doesn't have any options. Walks over in the middle. He now has a lane. Keegan Crowley shot there, stopped. Rebound is held, and we get a whistle. It's going to be for a crease violation. Faceoff will come out of the zone.
Yeah, so even if he had managed to get that in, that wouldn't have counted. That on McGrain.
Yeah, I'm sure Crowley's going to have some words for him when they get back to the bench, because if he scored that and that got taken off the board for the crease violation, and that would have been bad. Lucky break there for CNS. Crowley sends this one along over to Weaver. Weaver looks up the ice, has Hinman. Here's Daniel Hinman into the offensive zone. Hinman sends this one for McGrain, who deflected it wide, looking for his third of the game there. Good hit.
Yeah, could have got the redirect there as DeRoy was to the right of the crease, left the net wide open on the left side.
What positioning there by Baldwinsville on the power play. They tried to get them to the front of the net, was swallowed up by DeRoy. McGrain was right there, looking to knock it by him, and so we will get a change of the offensive portion of this power play unit. On comes Toland, McFeeters, and McCollum. Our Stars making some penalty kill changes as well. This one gets sent down the ice, and so Bice will have to play this one away. 1 minute left on the penalty kill. And here is Weaver, looks up the ice, has Crowley into the offensive zone. Crowley looking for options. He stops at the half boards, pulls it back up to the point. Crowley still with it. We'll look down for Weaver. Weaver fires one. That one went wide. And that was played there by McCollum, who just lost the puck. And now this brings Gabor looking to spring Cooley forward. And Cooley able to knock this one nearly to the middle. Didn't quite get all the way.
Nearly there was a 2-on-2 forming there for the North Stars. Could have had a shorthanded opportunity, just tied up there in the neutral zone. Can't get it to go.
Crowley handed this one off to McFeeters. McFeeters a shot there, same made rebound. Deflects out a play off the attempt by Crowley. It hit number 14, Jake Roscoff, on the way out. Faceoff will stay in the zone.
The Bees on this power play, they're getting some decent shots off here, but they're doing a great job stringing out the North Stars defense, because the North Stars, I've noticed when the Bees are down low behind DeRoy, that's when they're getting some wraparound opportunities, and I think that's just from them pulling apart the North Stars D and causing them to lose that tight box formation that you want during the penalty kill.
They look up ice now. North Stars trying to withhold this final few seconds of power play for Baldwinsville. Power play now over. Walking in is Weaver, whose shot is swallowed up by DeRoy. 10:09 left to go in the second period. Shots on goal 16-4 in favor of the Bees. North Stars had a really good start to the second period, but that power play certainly killed that momentum, it seems like.
Yeah. I got to tell you that the end of that first period was definitely a precedent for what the North Stars have started to do here in the second. They haven't been getting as many offensive opportunities. Only one shot on goal here 7 minutes into this second period. But they're definitely holding together on defense a lot better than they did earlier on in that first period. Yeah, 16 shots on goal for the Bees, so they're getting a lot more volume. And you talked about it, Killian. They've had a lot of times big wins
that was
where they're
loose out in front there for Toland. Sorry to cut you off there, Joey.
No, you're good. But yeah, they've had a lot of those wins where they're out shooting their opponents by 20 shots on goal, and we could see another case here tonight.
That's played there around the side. McGrain came in to try to knock that one away, and here come the North Stars up ice. Making a move was Brown, and he had that one taken away. And I mean, the North Stars, their rush game this year has been one of their best parts, and Brown's been a big part of that. He's been kind of locked up today in that regard. Good job by this Baldwinsville defense as a whole. Making a move on that was Spino. Benkowski picks it up, looks up the ice. That one's played by Dylan Breen for Baldwinsville, and he will turn around the other way. Breen looking to get it forward, and a good stick lift there gives him space. Breen rushes forward, gets sent down in. No icing on the play. Stepping in to this was McGrain. Here's Max Spino. Spino dodges the check up to Crowley. Crowley walks in, fires, deflects wide.
Oh, that nearly snuck in, just got the right deflection off of DeRoy's pads.
McGrain, low backhander save made by DeRoy. And this has been the line for Baldwinsville today. It's been by far their most successful group out on the ice. I would not be surprised if we see that theme continue here, Joey, because right now it doesn't look like CNS has an answer for them.
Yeah, the offensive answers are scarce. Again, only one shot on goal here for the North Stars in this second period, and we're nearly 10 minutes in. So they're definitely holding strong on defense. DeRoy making some huge saves here in the second. Just can't come up with an answer on offense.
DeRoy a couple more right there off the rebound on attempt there from Worth. Let's get sent down the ice, and now here come the North Stars. Gabor walking in was played by Crowley. Gabor makes the pass down to Springer. Springer being played by Breen, and Springer taken down there by Dylan Breen. Was asking for a call. Official's not going to give him one. Crowley turned, or not Crowley, excuse me, Cooley. He turned and looked to the middle.
Crowley, Cooley, same thing.
Yeah, similar.
Similar, yeah.
Battled around there. And then sent to the middle. Oh, Springer was wide open in front of the net. They just couldn't find him.
Yeah, just too quick to get the redirect.
And this goes down the ice now. Nearly able to get onto that one was Owen Hawthorne, but the puck just kind of took a weird bounce that fooled both him and Alex Kirkby. This gets hit forward. North Stars looking to break back in the offensive zone. That's a missed pass. Oh, and that's certainly one they're going to want to get back, as this is going to come back into the CNS zone for this faceoff.
So, yeah, a lot of missed opportunities here for the North Stars. That's really where they're lacking on the shots on goal. They're not getting any offensive breakout sequences where they can get those opportunities and get those shots on goal.
North Stars just struggling here to get anything really offensively as of late. Chipped out of play there. Faceoff will stay in the zone. 7:17 left to go here.
Yeah, I mean, the one shot on goal in 10 minutes is really evident of that lack of offensive playmaking here for the North Stars.
Faceoff there was won by Baldwinsville. Played around. Oh, there's a shot there from Dorito, who nearly was able to tuck that one by in close quarters. Able to step up to this one there was Trey Dapolina for the North Stars. Now walking on into the offensive zone is Colin Anderson. Anderson tried to dump that one down in deep. And Baldwinsville will look. Oh, what a stretch pass there. Had Weaver ready for it, but just taken away at the last second there by Landon Russo.
Russo holding strong there, despite the stretch pass attempt.
Pertella's shot there, swallowed up and held by DeRoy. Up to 21 shots on goal now for Baldwinsville. And Joey, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier in this broadcast about how Baldwinsville is a very, very good road team. Arguably much better on the road than they are at home.
Yeah, and, you know, Killian, we were talking about it earlier, too. When the Bees get a high volume of good shots, that's where they can sting you in the back and really come from behind. And I think that's where they're able to strike first here tonight. Up 3-0, still in the second. They've slowed down a little bit on offense. I think that has to do in part with the North Stars defense picking up the pace and matching the momentum from the Bees. But really, I think when they get those quality shots we were talking about it, that's where they can really come out on top.
That one there goes wide. Stepping up to it were a couple of North Stars sent down the ice. Onto this one now is Mason Stutton. Stutton down behind his own net. He will look up, and he has a connection to Thomas Rolfe. Picked up the other way by Gabor. Gabor sends this one to the middle, was looking for Clark. Didn't have anything going there. Kirkby makes a move, and he's not able to do much with that. And this comes out the other way. Here come the Bees. Chipped up, and now here comes Rolfe walking on in a 1-on-2 situation. He drives the corner, takes a couple of checks there, and this one gets fired up and sprung forward for Gabor. Here comes Andrew Gabor. Can he get to this puck? It's swatted away there at the last second by Stutton. Fired back up the wall. Shot comes in, deflects away off the attempt from Cal Brown.
And there's some of the ones. Now North Stars get another shot on goal there, but those are some of the ones now that in Gabor's case, you know, as much speed as you might have, it depends on how the puck's going and how the puck's moving. And unfortunately, the puck was just a little bit ahead of him. And by the time he caught up, he was two past, and he had an awkward angle there, so he couldn't get a proper shot off.
Yeah, North Star's going to take a hold here. It's going to be against Russo.
Yeah, clear as day there. As here comes another opportunity for the Bees. They're 0 for 1 on their power plays today.
And Joe, you talk about blatantly obvious here. I think this is the most obvious it's going to get. Completely grabs him, spins him around. That has every possible indicator you could possibly look for. Power play for Baldwinsville. Opportunity to make it 4-0 here. 5:38 left in the second period. This is a huge kill for CNS. You can't let people get 4 ahead in this situation.
And if the refs miss those kind of calls, that's when you can start accusing them of being blind.
They certainly did not miss that one. Baldwinsville power play 0 for 1 on the day. This is chipped back around up to the point. Here's Crowley. Crowley shoots, has space, it deflected, it's under DeRoy, and he's able to sit on it. And talk about wide open shooting lanes. That was one right there. Crowley just walked in and had free reign to that. Was hoping for a rebound or maybe a trickle. Wasn't able to get anything there.
And this goes back to what I was talking about earlier. The Bees just stretching out this North Stars defense on the power plays. And that is really where they're getting these open passing lanes.
Oh, that's who's in front. They score! It's Dom Dorito, 4-0 Bees.
He gets the top shelf bottler and, man, knocks the bottle out of place. Those are the opportunities you can't leave open for the Bees. And you can see DeRoy just distraught on the ground. But really, that's just the North Stars just need to clear it there, and they couldn't get it off in time. Gives it over to the Bees, and you leave a wide open shot. And so a 4-0 lead here in the second. 25 shots on goal. That does it. So 1 for 2 here on the power plays. Our first power play goal of the evening.
North Stars being outshot by 5 times right now.
Yeah.
A historically good performance right now for, I mean, I don't know about historical, but you get what I'm trying to go for,
yes.
Joe. It's been an excellent performance for the Bees. As getting spun down there was Kirkby. Down in, Tolan looking for more. Here's Joe Tolan on the wall, comes up to the point, held in by Crowley. Chip down in, McFeeters. McFeeters stops, reverses, and it gets fired up the wall. Go ahead, Joey.
And I know you're good. This is the point you were talking about, Killian, the 4-0 situation for the North Stars. Now it's going to be, there's still time, so got 4.5 here in this second and a full third left to go, but it's definitely going to be a tall task now for the North Stars.
And Joey, when Baldwinsville at the beginning of the year was talking about competing for a state championship, this is the form of team that they expected to see. And this has been how they've played. They've been playing like a potential sectional champion at this rate. What a great move there by McCollum to avoid the dangerous leg-on-leg collision. Still got a whole period left to go, so plenty of time, but things looking dire for the North Stars. Here's McCollum, a drive. It got blocked on the way in there by Benkowski. Fired back down in. And here's Russo. Looks up the ice. Out of play it goes. And it'll stay in the zone.
A great job by the senior captain on that play. Just getting some bodies in front, including himself, and just holding off the Bees from potentially deadly play there.
Baldwinsville looking to extend their season and get a trip to West Genesee as their reward. They remain the one team in division play to defeat them this year. Obviously, Joey, like we said earlier, they weren't at full health yet. Nick Maloney, one of the top contributors for that Jenny team, from what my former coach told me, was just getting up to speed during that game, so still not 100% when those two teams faced, and obviously he's been a huge contributor for Jenny since then. That gets whacked out of play. Talk about pucks flying out of play, Joey. There's been a lot of them.
There's 2 in a row here in the last few seconds.
Yeah, it's going to come into Northstar zone here since it hit a Northstar stick. So this will be an offensive zone face-off here for Baldwinsville. You have the line with McFeeters, Rolf, and Toland out on the ice. Certainly not the most efficient line on the day for Baldwinsville, but they haven't really needed all their lines to be top tier. They've been scoring plenty on their own today. Shots on goal remain 25-5. This gets sent up and walked forward into the offensive end. Now here come the North Stars making a move. Shot there comes in, is knocked away by Bice. Zach Bice has had himself a season so far. Let's get sent forward, and now here come the Bees. That was poked forward there up to Toland. Toland got a stick on it. McFeeters holds this one in, battling Soblowski. McFeeters walks in. His shot there, blocker to side by DeRoy. Joe Toland comes in. He tries to land onto the puck, and this one will come backward for the North Stars to reset. Line changes here coming for Baldwinsville. Walking forward with this is Soblowski. Into the offensive zone, chips it off the boards back to himself. They'll deem it hit the red padding. And so faceoff will likely come out of the zone here.
Here's some faceoffs that North Stars really need to win, both in the neutral zone and in the offensive zone. They really need to just slow things down, and here's actually an offensive zone faceoff for the North Stars. So here's a really crucial faceoff. They need to win these and just really set up a play. They need to slow some things down, get some proper shots on goal that they've kind of been lacking here tonight. As there's almost an opportunity there for Gabor off the rebound.
What a hit there by McCollum, able to win his team possession. This comes out the other way. McCollum holds it at the point. McCollum walks in, got taken down. No call there from the officials. Walking forward now are the North Stars. This is passed up and it goes down. Shot there is going to be held by Bice. 2:03 left to go in the second period. 4-0 our score. Shots on goal 26-8. North Stars here looking to just crack 10 shots before the second period is out. And you can tell, Joey, just from the body language on the bench, which team's in the lead in this one. Baldwinsville looks all up and interested in the fear the North Stars. Our bench certainly looks to be in much more dire straits at this stage of the game. This is knocked forward and trying to get it up to Hinman, but Weaver was unable to get out of his zone initially. Now it comes out, and walking forward onto this one is Weaver. Weaver gets a stick on it, turns, looks. Weaver with possession. He shoots one, save made there. Took a hit to make that shot, but DeRoy able to knock it away.
And you got to give some DeRoy credit here tonight. I mean, yes, he's allowed in 4, but really there's been a lot of defensive breakdowns here for the North Stars. That's where most of the goals have come for the Bees. So honestly, on even strength and where he's getting an equal opportunity to grab the save, he's making them, and tonight he's been solid on some of those shots.
In the offense zone from the North Stars, Cooley sends this one for Springer, did not connect, and it comes out the other way for Baldwinsville, looking up for Weaver. There's Rocco Weaver. Tries to chip this one on by, ends up going offside, so he'll have to get back, and he's able to successfully check up. Good hit there. Fired through. Here is Gabe Springer. Springer knocks it by, dumped back down in by Beeville. Now keep an eye here, Joey, on CNS's discipline. This is the situation where you start to see teams get undisciplined, make some hits that they shouldn't. Here's Clark.
And the North Stars have struggled with discipline all season, and especially when you're down 4-0 heading into the third period, that's where you'll see some of these teams like the North Stars who have struggled just regularly start to slip.
Shot there goes wide, coming in on that now are the North Stars. It gets popped up there to the half boards, knocked down low.
There's about 30 seconds left here in this period.
Clark up to the point. Shot comes in there from Benkoski. Got deflected down and wide. And the North Stars there still trying to just gain possession of this puck. Kirkby misses the whack down. And now here comes Joe Tolan. Can he get to it in time? Tolan with it. He shoots, and it got blocked away.
Great job by the captain there to stick with him and get some of those blocks in front.
Oh, but here's McGrain with 5 seconds left. Shoots deflected out of play. McGrain there looking to walk on in and put one by. Just unable to do so. 2.8 now left to go. This most likely will be how we end this second period unless the Bees can get a face-off win and an easy shot.
And McGrain itching at the hat trick. He's so close. He's gotten so many opportunities to knock one through for his third of the evening.
And that is how we conclude the second period of action. Baldwinsville looking well on their way to a date with West Jenny. They lead 4-0 after 2 shots on goal, 27-8 in favor of the Bees.
So while we have our momentary break, we'd like to take a look at the playoff picture here as it takes a peek into some of our matchups. As you can see, our first round, IHC taking off, or knocking down CNY Fusion, though they just lost to the Wildcats, so the Wildcats moving on, and they'll play the winner of tonight's game. And then you got RFA and FM and Kaz and Syracuse City.
A Kaz Syracuse City game going on tonight. There's no live barn at Meacham, so we genuinely have no idea what's going on down there right now.
All right, so stick with it. And then, as always, a huge thank you to our sponsor, Marzullo Landscaping. When we come back, we'll get some comparison stats between the two teams, and we'll be back for the third and final period. 4-0, Bees in front. Don't go anywhere.
We welcome you on to the Northstar Network for a third period action between the CNS Northstars and the Baldwinsville Bees. Bees lead 4-0 following 2 periods of action. And here we have some stats here from the games leading into tonight between these two teams. So across this season, Baldwinsville 90 goals, CNS with 59. Baldwinsville 103 assists, CNS 74. Baldwinsville leading in goals against with only 48 compared to the CNS 72. CNS leading in the Department of Saves, 707 to 480, and the record CNS 500 at 10-10. Baldwinsville 13-4-3.
So Killian, as we were talking about, it's a little lopsided. The Northstars obviously sticking out in assists or in its saves, but I think that kind of shows some of those defensive breakdowns. I mean, look at tonight, 23 saves here so far for DeRoy, only 10 saves for Bice. So defense holding strong for the Bees, whereas the Northstars letting up some plays that they'd like to take back. And in this case, that is going to go to the Northstars for saves tonight so far. So
teams lining up for the faceoff. Northstars hoping it won't be their last time lining up for a faceoff to start a period of the season. It's a tall mountain to climb, certainly not an insurmountable one by any stretch, but it's going to start here off of these first couple shifts. Can they get a goal early? That's going to be the big factor, and can they come back?
Yeah, they're going to need to capitalize quickly here, Killian. That's really going to set the tone for the rest of the period, and that's where the Northstars can come back.
A trip to West Genesee on the line, third period underway. Northstars in the white, Baldwinsville in the red. This gets sent back down low. Trying to play on this one was Gabor, who landed a good hit there on Crowley. It's chipped around, stepping up to this one was Himman for the Bees. Himman trying to whack at this one. It comes up out of the zone. It's deflected in by Baldwinsville, so Crowley takes it back in his own end. Keegan Crowley looks up the ice. He has his attempt at a clear blocked. Pertel carries it forward. Don Pertel looks up, and this one's going to go down the ice for an icing against Baldwinsville. So an offensive zone face-off looming for the Northstars. 16:21 here left to go in this third period. Shots on goal 27-10 in favor of the Bees, and our score 4-0.
Yeah, and these are the face-offs I was talking about, Killian, in that second, as the Northstars really need to win these ones and get some offensive possessions started.
Down the ice, that one will go. There's a good hit there. Oh my, what a hit by Dylan Lang. Stepping in the Max Spino. Dumped down in. I can't plan it now. Was CNS. This gets carried forward.
We're tied up now.
Sent down low. And we're going to get a penalty here upcoming against the Northstars. Or no, I lied. It's offside. Just an offside. No penalty. This is sent down. Trying to hit it forward there. And here comes McGrane. McGrane makes a move. Couldn't get that one to fully get by. And now here's a pass over for Clark. Austin Clark stays onside. Walks around down low. Clark looking for options. He pulls it back to his forehand. Makes a move. Avoids a hit. It comes back down low. This gets whacked up and out of the zone. Tolan in pursuit for the Bees. Here's Russo. Landon Russo behind his own end. And he'll go for a bit of a skate here. Russo comes up and he breaks into the offensive zone. Oh, offside, jumping the gun there. And we're going to get an unsportsmanlike penalty now on Kalen Brown. And Joey, you got to keep your composure there. In that case, they get him for slamming the puck against the wall after the whistle. And now Baldwinsville can put this one away here on the power play.
Yeah, we were talking about it. The Northstars have been struggling with discipline all year, and especially when they get into these situations, down 4-0 here in the third period, that's where we can see their discipline start to slip. And now some unnecessary power play, or unnecessary penalties, and some very crucial power plays if the Bees want to go away with this one and punch their ticket to West Jenny, or the Northstars crucial penalty kills if they want a chance.
McGrane shoots, deflects wide. Down low here is Weaver, down to Dorito, back up to Weaver. Here's Rocco Weaver, a drive! It got knocked down front, loose in front! They try to get to it, and McGrane was nearly able to hit that one by.
Great job by DeRoy, standing firm and strong in his crease.
Weaver's shot there is stopped by DeRoy. And this one, it will be cleared down the ice. North Stars in pursuit, looking to get maybe a shorthanded opportunity. But Bice read that one well, and he'll spring an opportunity forward. McGrain picks this one up off the weird bounce off the boards, and DeRoy just kind of jumps on it, and he'll hold it from there. 14-12 left to go in the third period, just under 3 minutes gone by. Still 4-0 our score. North Stars looking to start some kind of comeback here. Shots on goal 30-10, so 3 times the amount of shots Beeville has compared to CNS.
Yeah, 24 saves here 26 saves for DeRoy. So he's already outperforming Bice in that category, but Killian, I think that really just is a testament to the defense of these two squads. The North Stars letting too many opportunities through.
They score!
From the blue line!
It's Rocco Weaver!
Wow, what a shot. Not even really a one-timer. That was a little bit soft compared to some other shots you can see from that point from the blue line. And wow, Weaver zips it across, and just a lot of bodies in front. It inhibits the vision of DeRoy, and he just lets that one through. It looked like it snuck through the 5-hole there.
And it's a great finish there by Weaver from the point here. You get a look at the shot. It's going to come in, beats him just over the left pad. And so that'll make this a 5-0 game. Beeville well on their way to the sectional semifinal berth and a rematch against West Genesee. North Stars at this point probably trying to make this one a bit more respectable.
Trying to save the shutout here.
That's held in the offensive zone, making a move on it with Springer, who got checked a couple of times. Excuse me, that was not Springer, that was Gabor. Coming out the other way, here is Tolan. Tolan gets checked, and it comes right back to him. Joe Tolan shoots one. It's a weak little flubber. It's tangled up there with Gabe Springer, and the North Stars bringing it out the other direction. Into the offensive zone now, it's dumped in onto Bice, who's just going to hold it right there.
Didn't want to leave the North Stars an opportunity to change possession there behind the net, so Bice just holds instead.
On the draw is Cooley matched up with Hinman. Cooley will be ejected. And in comes Dylan Ling. Ling wins the faceoff. Back to Clark. And Clark unable to get that under possession. Now here comes Rocco Weaver. Just scored a goal on that power play. His shot there deflects wide. Held up to the point. Comes in. Deflected by Weaver. Penalty upcoming into North Stars. It's going to be on Ling. Out comes Zach Bice. And a power play yet again for the Bees.
Sorry, Killian, but they're 2 for 3 today. So North Stars, they were successful on that first one, but the last 2 have been successful for the Bees. So North Stars, now they're starting to get into that point. They're starting to get a little bit chippy, undisciplined, and that can really lead to a further lead for the Bees.
This is that frustration, Joey. And Baldwinsville looking to fervor put this one out of reach on this power play. They haven't been great on the power play today, although they did just have that goal from Weaver, who loses his puck as it falls out of the zone. Weaver sends it up, and getting onto this puck now are the North Stars, or excuse me, the Bees. What a move there by McGrain. Alessio McGrain looking over for Hinman. Couldn't get that one to connect. Dorito takes a check. And a penalty upcoming now against the North Stars. And the parade to the penalty box continues for CNS. Alex Kirkby will join Ling.
And a long 5-on-3 now coming for the Bees. 1:34 on that one.
And now officials are going to get together here. So this happens in front of the net here. Can we get a replay on this? Let's have a look here on our replay. So it's a little hard to see. I believe there's going to be a cross-check of some kind that happens in there. You can't see it because it's off frame. And so play will resume. They will give him a lengthy 5-on-3 here for the Bees. Looking to put this one out of reach. Wide open to Hinman. Oh, and I don't know how that one didn't find its way in. I don't know if he just missed it or if it got blocked by somebody on its way in.
Yeah, there's a nice gap there in the upper 90. Just couldn't fit it through.
Crowley sends it on over. Here's Weaver. Weaver sends it down low, and that one deflected wide. Good attempt by Himmin. Back up to Weaver. Weaver will just shoot one that deflects wide, and over to Keegan Crowley. Crowley steps forward, makes a move, has it poked away, and now here come the North Stars trying to break forward, but Crowley intercepts that, and offside against Beeville as McGrain a little late out of the zone.
Yeah, obviously those shorthanded opportunities on these 5-on-3s are very few and far between. You know, you lack the numbers to be able to get some passes across, and obviously nothing coming of that one. Too many Bs in the area. It's poke free.
I'm sure Coach Lloyd for Baldwinsville will be pleased with this one, and now we're going to get a probable board here against Dorito. We'll see what they end up giving him here. I wouldn't be surprised, Joe, if he ends up picking up a boarding.
Yeah, so this should be back to just a regular power play for about 41 seconds. Then we'll go to a 4-on-4, I believe. If my math's doing me correctly here, for a little bit, and then a regular power play for the North Stars for.
It looks like they're explaining, so I believe this is probably going to be a major here, just because there's the explanation given. Yep, it's a major. So Don Dorito picks up 5, likely for boarding.
Yeah, we saw one of those earlier, Killian, that we weren't quite sure it could have went either way. It ended up becoming a minor. This one goes the other way. Ends up a major here.
Penalty box door is still open. And I don't see Dorito in there. It's going to be serving the penalty Maverick Lemon. So I'll be interested here to see what the PA announcer announces. Oh, no, so he is in there. He may have also gotten, it might have been misconduct. I'm not sure. We'll find out here from the PA announcer. Oh, here's a breakaway for Daniel Hinman. Hinman, save me there.
DeRoy on some of these.
So it'll be tripping from behind. That's going to be the penalty. Or checking from behind, yeah. Either tripping or check. I don't believe tripping from behind is a penalty, so checking from behind.
Yeah, tripping from behind would just be a tripping, I think.
This one goes down the ice. So North Stars will get a lengthy power play once these 2 CNS penalties expire. Hit forward there by McGrain, who hit it too far out of reach. 11:01 to go. 22 seconds of 5-on-3, and then we will have about 4-on-4. We will have about 3 minutes and 53 seconds, I believe, of North Star power play. So certainly they can get themselves back into it that way.
Yeah, and that they can score as much as they want in that time. We'll see if they can do it here.
Comes up to the point, and they'll be just dumped back down in there by Mason Stutton. Down low, here's Benkowski. North Stars looking to spoil the upset here for Zach Bice on this oncoming power play. 4-on-4 is now over, and joining the play will be number 18, Jack Bennett. This is held here, sent down low. Clark up to the point, and it's given out over to Benkowski. A drive, it deflects wide. Good hit there, and now those two will come together. This one gets sent down the ice, so Beeville will make a couple of changes. On comes McGrain and Spino for the Bees. Then we got a speedy duo here on the forward if they can get going. Oh, what a move
there! We go.
Brown! Oh, man, what a save there by Bice.
That is...
And then Brown gets another opportunity at it. Behind him, that penalty upcoming. It's going to be against CNS. Wow. And interference to Kalen Brown.
So now the North Stars only going to get about 1 minute and 9 seconds of power play. And, man, what a move. Even though Kalen Brown wasn't able to connect on that one, what a move by him to sneak past the defender. Those are the opportunities the North Stars really needed. Unfortunately, he couldn't connect, but that's definitely something the North Stars needed there, luckily for the Bees.
Coach Jones asking for an explanation, it looks like here. Seems to not be happy with what was given.
Interesting song choice there.
So,
you never know what you're going to get here at the MAC.
So Cal Brown goes to the box for interference. And a lengthy 4-on-4 at a full 2 minutes. North Stars will still have about a minute and a half of power play once the 4-on-4 concludes. And so onto the ice here. We'll get a couple of changes from both squads. Shots on goal 34-13 in favor of the Bees, and they've played a very lockdown style of play here in this third period. Not really looking to extend their lead very much, but just looking to shut down this CNS offense, which they've done a great job of doing today. That chance by Brown we saw right before he took the penalty was probably the best CNS has had all day.
Yeah.
Sent around down low. This one, it's a good check by Alex Kirkby. Gets fired up and knocked away. Here come the North Stars trying to carry this one forward. It's hit and turned over there by CNS. Baldwinsville brings it forward to the offensive zone. Rocco Weaver from the side. Weaver shoots. And that one was looking top right, but gloved out of the air by DeRoy. 9:18 remaining.
You know, sometimes teams do like the 4-on-4 for their offensive purposes because it gives you a little bit more space on the ice. So we'll see if that's beneficial to either team if they can knock one through on the 4-on-4. But it's obviously a lengthy one, 2 full minutes. Obviously, it's winded down since then, but about a minute or so of the 4-on-4 left.
Here come the North Stars into the offensive zone. Shot there from Cooley, patted away. Moving on in, shot there, gloved by Bice, he holds.
Bice making some big saves here late. He wasn't tested much in the first couple periods, but North Stars getting some more high-quality shots on goal as of recent, and Bice still denying in the crease.
Now on the draw, McFeeters. Matched up against Cooley. Cooley wins the faceoff. Shot from Sobolewski there. Stopped. It goes out of play. On the draw, it is won by Cooley forward. Here's Sobolewski. Carries it behind his net. Looks up to the point. It's held in there by Roscoff. Roscoff's shot got deflected wide. Down onto this one there. Are the North Stars. Comes up to the point. Shot comes in, deflects wide.
Yeah, Sobolewski looking for the redirect, just can't get it.
Shot there flies through the crease and wide. Sobolewski comes in trying to get to that. It's played by McFeeters, who brings this forward, dumps it on in and avoids a check. And Baldwinsville goes for a full sail change here. All their personnel comes off. Rushing forward, there's a good move by McGrane. He ended up losing it. Walking forward is Russo. Russo gets through a couple. His shot there is stopped and held. And then a little more pushing and shoving, and now this will draw a crowd. Bit of extracurricular activity after that one. Frustration boiling over. Taking a page there out of Kenny Albert's book.
Some extracurricular activities indeed, as the student section loving that one, getting into it.
I mean, it's certainly the most action I think that student section's seen all day, just by how things have gone for CNS. And the parade to the penalty box continues for both teams.
Probably get coincidental minors there.
Yeah, I'd expect we wouldn't get anything other than just base coincidentals here.
We're not going to change much. Only 12 more seconds here on the 4-on-4, and then the North Stars will have about a minute and 9.
There's a broken stick down sitting on the boards. Actually, is it broken, or is that just another piece of debris that's sitting next to it? I do not know what that is.
Don't know.
Zach Bice down there to investigate, and he hands it off to Landon Russo. And that's the weird thing about these varsity games, Joey. You get these big fights, but then you get kids that have also played with each other since they were like 7 or 8.
Right.
And so you get those kids just kind of hanging out while everyone else is beating each other up.
That's the thing about like playing other schools in the area. A lot of those youth leagues are just the central New York area in general, and that's, again, like you said, Killian, a lot of these guys have played each other, which can prove beneficial because you can know other players' style of play as Springer realizing he's shouldn't be out on the ice.
Dan Jones getting an explanation from the official. 8:07 left to go. I'm guessing these are going to end up coincidental, so after the next 12 seconds, it'll go back to a Northstar power play. They'll have about 109 left on that. 8:07 left in the game, 5-0, Beeville trying to conserve the shutout. And we finally will get set to play again. Face-off is won by the Northstars, who look to spring it into the offensive zone. Sent in and gloved by Bice, and he's just going to hold that. And the clock is still running for some reason. And so they will. So our producer Alex Schneible is saying it should be 8 minutes left on there with about, what'd you say, 5 seconds? Yep, 5 seconds left on the 4-on-4. And it looks like they'll put a little extra time back up there. So they'll set it to 8:02, which will probably add another 12-ish seconds to these penalties. So 6 seconds will go back up on the board for the penalty against Brown. And Dom Dorito, who has been in the box for quite a bit following his major for checking from behind. We're back here in the Northstar Network. This one gets chipped up, and now here comes Max Spino walking in forward. Spino, he takes a hit there. It's fired around the wall. Northstar is looking to spoil the shutout here. 7:47 left to go. Beeville up 5-0. Into the offensive zone now comes Clark. Clark from the side turns, looks for space, goes up to the point to Benkoski. Benkoski a drive, glove save that's held. And a little more pushing and shoving after that one.
Northstar's got to be careful now, as they got under 50 seconds left here.
We will get a timeout here called by Baldwinsville. So the Bees going to take their timeout here. 5-0 our score. 49 seconds left on the power play. And now's a good time to remind you that our sponsor is Marzullo's Landscaping. For all your landscaping needs, they are our sponsor for this winter season. We'll take a break here during this timeout. We'll be back in a moment. 5-0 our score, 7:37 left to go. We are back here in the Northstar Network. 5-0 our score, 7:37 to go. 49 seconds on the power play for the Northstars as they look to spoil this shutout or start to mount some form of comeback. Over half this third period gone by. Shots on goal 36-18. Sent down low. CNS trying to pick this one up. Comes up to the point. This is held in, and now a shot comes in there from Andrew Gabor. It goes wide. Sent down low to Clark. Clark turning, looks up to the point. Sent it over to Benkoski. Benkoski down to Brown. Brown to the middle. Oh, had a wide open net. There was Clark, but he missed it.
Man, those are the opportunities that the Northstars.
And we're going to get a penalty here against CNS. And Brown's now got a misconduct for the stick slam afterwards.
Yeah, this is where the North Star's discipline is really starting to slip. In these final minutes where the frustration's starting to set in.
And so Brown's gone. They just threw out Kalen Brown.
Wow.
So we have an ejection here in this sectional quarterfinal, kind of a measure of how the temperature of this game's picked up for CNS. Frustration's boiling over. So now the officials will sort this one out. I'm unsure how this will end up affecting. I believe the misconduct in the game misconduct won't actually do anything on, like, in terms of loss of manpower, but the slash will. So from what I can tell, Baldwinsville will have a minute 40 power play once the Northstar power play once the 4-on-4, which has 20 seconds on it, expires. Meanwhile, if we look behind the goal, student section getting a little bored. They seem to be pushing on the boards a little bit and trying to, like, stack on top of each other. Not too sure what's going on down there.
Luckily, we didn't have our camera down at that side because
I think that thing would be dislodged by now.
Yeah.
Also, not much action down there. I mean, Buddy's certainly seen the most action he's seen all game in this third period alone, but...
And he's still holding strong, Killian, even though there's been some chances and the North Stars have just not been able to take advantage.
So there's 2 penalties currently on the board. We're going to wait for them to announce it. So it looks like Gabor is in the box. So is Brown. Brown obviously not in the box. He was thrown out of the game. I can't tell who's serving that penalty for him. And so we'll wait for the PA announcers thing. Regardless, we're going to have 4-on-3 here for 20 seconds, then it'll go to a 5-on-3. So Gabor is going to pick up an unsportsmanlike on top of the Brown penalties. Walking forward, 5-on-3 now for the Bees, who didn't realize the box should have been open there for a few seconds. Hinman's shot gets blocked. Back there is McGrain to pick it up. Alessio McGrain makes a good move. He looks to spring up ice, the pass inaccurate. This gets blocked by Crowley's skate. Here is Hinman, sends it forward. Knocked down, where the Bees take control of it, and this is Weaver on it. Fired forward, Hinman into the offensive zone. Hinman has room. He'll elect to go back to Crowley. Crowley sends on over for Weaver. Rocco Weaver shoots one, save made, rebound, it's in! And Baldwinsville is up 6-0. I believe Daniel Hinman will get credit for knocking this one in. And this is going to be the dagger officially. 6-0 Beeville.
Yeah,
it'll remain a power play for 58 seconds.
Yeah, 4-on-3 capitalization there by the Bees.
Oh, never mind, no goal, they just waited off.
Oh, looked like it could have been a crease infraction there. Let's get the replay there.
It was a high stick, I believe is what they're signaling.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. Hinman was out, and it looked like Benkowski might have got a stick on that one as well, but like you're saying, Killian getting waved off from the high stick.
So we were all in the, that's a goal, or hold that thing, and then officials randomly blow their whistle, wave it off. They definitely came together there afterwards. Got some issues going on with Bice's pad. 6:06 to go here, so it'll remain a power play, or excuse me, a 5-on-3 for 58 seconds. As this one wraps up here in Cicero. Bice having some equipment issues. Faceoff will be in the Beeville zone off the high stick. So now they will line up for the draw, and it is McFeeters who wins off to the side, and here comes Riley McCollum. McCollum has speed. He comes up into the offensive zone, steps to the middle, makes a move, and has it taken away, gets hooked, and the officials will let that one go. Sent forward, Toland tries to hit that one up and now into the offensive zone. Here comes Weaver. Weaver drive, glove save. and held by DeRoy. Shot number 39 for the Bees on the day. 30 seconds left on the 5-on-3.
And there's that 20-plus shots on goal differential that we were kind of talking about earlier, that the Bees, when they get that, they're always going to outscore their opponents. When they get those high-quality opportunities.
Face-off is won. Fired down low. It's played by Hinman. Up to the point, held in by Weaver. Sends it on over to Crowley. Crowley shot the flex wide. Hinman picks it up. Back up to Weaver. Weaver over to Crowley. Crowley back to Weaver. Weaver down to Hinman. Hinman shoots from the side. It's a bad angle, so it's an easy save for DeRoy. 5:18 left to go. 10 seconds left on the 5-on-3. And Joey, obviously for Baldwinsville, they'll head off to West Jenny. And really, who do you think is the favorite at this stage to win it all in Section 3? We had that upset win, or it was seen as upset at the time of West Jenny over RFA. Meanwhile, McGray nearly put that one by.
Yeah, Killian, I mean, going into these semifinals, I see the favorite as West Jenny with a slight edge, and I think it really comes down to what you're talking about. One of their bigger scorers, Maloney, if I'm not mistaken, he was coming back from an injury. He wasn't 100%. So it wasn't not necessarily an injury, but he wasn't 100% there last time they played the Bees. So I think with that extra strength, they're the slight favorite. I mean, they're coming off a huge win versus IHC. But Bees still have it. If they can get these high-quality shots we were talking about today, they can take the victory versus the Wildcats. So I think it's definitely going to be a much more even matchup than you think.
I mean, but of course, you also can't discount the RFA Black Knights. Jacob Bruno, Mark Verano, that whole segment. You got Dante Sprayson, that too. I mean, that's going to be a tough team to overcome. And, I mean, they're going to have to obviously, we don't have confirmation on who won the Syracuse-Cazenovia game, so I don't want to say what the semifinal on the other side is going to be, just because the rink that they were playing at does not have live bars, so we can't check in on it. But as that shot, it's going to go off sides, and we get a little more extracurricular as Roscoff tried to throw a shoulder.
Yeah, Killian, I mean, coming into this season, as we went along, Beeville was one of the biggest surprises, and we talked about it earlier in the season, and Killian, you've been covering the Bees this whole year on KSN. So, I mean, Beeville, one of the biggest surprises through this season, and I think they have a chance to go deep and make it to the finals. We might see an RFA Beeville final. Obviously, they got to get past West Jenny, who's always been a powerhouse in Section 3. So it's definitely going to be a tough one to predict. But obviously, you can't discount the other side of the bracket, RFA.
And from the beginning of the year, Joey, you had head coach Mark Lloyd of the Baldwinsville Bees. He said this is a team that can compete at states, and they certainly had their fair share of adversity this year. You had those ties against FM and IHC and the losses to Syracuse, CNS, and RFA at home. But certainly, with the way they've played today, they look like a team that could definitely go deep. And I'll be excited to see how they do for the rest of this tournament here. Still have 3 minutes left to be played. Beeville just trying to shut this one down. Sent forward. Here is McCollum, fires wide.
But sorry to cut you off there, but Killian, you were talking about the Bees are a great road team, and I think that's definitely going to be to their advantage heading into the semifinals.
Absolutely. I mean, Baldwinsville, plenty of big wins on the road so far in this season. I mean, this wasn't necessarily a divisional game, but you had that win over New Hartford. New Hartford, one of the favorites to win Division II, and they were without two of their captains in that game. And Baldwinsville, they seem to just be a different team when they're on the road, and they've looked like that today. Very strong play here from Baldwinsville. 2:58 left to go. That one popped out of the zone. Northstar's trying to spring this forward, and they're going to not be able to get very far. Tolan fires this one on in, easily blocker to side. Rolf up to the point. This is number 5, Nate Hinman, who recorded his first goal in the last game they played against, in the last game Beeville played against FM, recorded his first ever varsity goal.
There's nearly a huge opportunity in front for the North Stars. A good centering pass, just can't get it to find the back of the net.
Time continuing to tick off the clock. 2:24 down now. This one gets fired up all the way down the ice, or not all the way down the ice. It's intercepted by Mason Sutton, who sends this one back in. 2:10 left to go. Down onto this one is Easton Anderson. Some of the younger guys now getting some playing time for Baldwinsville as we near the conclusion of this game. On the ice is Bennett Mattoon, a freshman for the Bees. North Stars just trying to get this thing to the end and maybe get a couple of goals here for the road. On the ice now for CNS, Carter Rowley. And the offensive zone now here is Gabor. What a move by Gabor. It's dropped back over for Sablaski. Sablaski battling for it. And it gets sent up and out of the zone. Oh, big hit there by Gabor. Nearly put Maverick Lemon into his own bench. Long pass. This one's going to go off the boards. Trying to get to his Gabor. Gabor walks on in. And he will be played, sent to Rowley in the middle. And this one gets fired over the net by Sablaski after it got by Rowley. Long shot there is knocked away off the boards. 1 minute left to go now, or excuse me, just over a minute. Shot comes in, save made, rebound loose in front. They try to get to it. North Star still have it. Centered again. Penalty upcoming to CNS. And now there's going to be a kick afterwards by Gabor, and that's going to get him probably thrown out of the game, I'd imagine.
Wow, 2 North Star players getting thrown out here.
I mean, you just can't do that. There's not really much you can say other than you cannot do that. Obviously, I mean, hockey is a game played on skates, so any kind of kick is going to be naturally dangerous, and it's pretty clear here after the scrum. So he got called initially during the scrum, I believe, for a rough. Then there's the kick afterwards. North Star's just losing their composure. And officials probably going to have some paperwork to do after this one with the game reports. They try to sort this one out. Shots on goal 44-20. 5-0 Baldwinsville. I'd imagine the message from the coach here is keep your composure. Don't do anything dumb that will get you suspended here before this semifinal. Coach Lloyd currently talking to the official, and there's a 7 minutes because of the stacking major and minor on the clock. So obviously not nearly enough time to play out the full 7 minutes. But in case you didn't know, that is a possibility because of the stacking minor and the stacking major.
So in that case, Killian, would it be a full 7 minutes unreleasable, so essentially they can score as many times in that 7 minutes, or how would that work?
You know, I'm not quite sure. I believe what happens is that they score in the first 2 minutes, the clock resets down to 5 minutes because that would negate the minor. There was also another North Star, Dylan Ling, that went to the bench. I don't know what really happened there.
Maybe just getting subbed out here in the final minute.
And so, final minute will tick away. Beeville back to the power play. Obviously not really trying to score here. They got some younger guys out on the ice. Andrew Hawkinson sends this one down low. Playing onto the wall. 45 seconds left here. Baldwinsville just trying to get out with a win. Not have to face any kind of suspensions. It's held up on the wall. Obviously a lot of time left, so they can't really eat it. And now there will be a whistle for pinning the puck against the wall for too long. 6:33 remaining on the power play. Little Kanye being played. Like Joey said, it's a mixed bag what you get here on the MAC.
Yeah, life, or you could say the MAC is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get when it comes to music, I should say.
And so that one goes wide here. Penalty killing North Stars will negate the icing. There's a big collision there. North Stars just trying to get physical here towards the end of the game. DeRoy comes out of his net, flips it away. That'll do it. Final 3 seconds will tick off. And that is it. Baldwinsville goes to West Jenny And they will get a shot at knocking out the 5 consecutive defending sectional champions before the sectional championship game. And for the North Stars, their season ends here. A 5-0 final. Baldwinsville takes down CNS. Final shots on goal, 44-20.
Yeah, and that goes back to our point earlier, Killian. When the Bees get these quality shots on goal, they're going to take advantage. And the North Stars defense just couldn't hold strong tonight. They improved towards the end, but it wasn't enough. And a 5-0 victory for the Bees.
Absolutely, and I mean, they will go through this final handshake line here. Obviously, a number of seniors for CNS. This is their last career game. Disappointing that it has to end here for them, but for Beeville, they will get their shot at West Genesee in the sectional semifinal. With that here, we will sign off. I'm Killian Heffron. My color commentator is Joey Cox. My camera operator was Owen Lynch. For some reason, it's Jordan Petrowski right now. And my producer is Alex Schneible. We will see you all next time here on the Northstar Network. Final score, Baldwinsville 5, CNS 0. And we thank you all for tuning in. Goodbye.